The Heart of the Forest. The Watchmaker's Surprise. Once upon a time, in a little village nestled between rolling hills and sparkling streams, there lived an old man named Elden. Elden was no ordinary man. He was a watchmaker, a keeper of time. His workshop was a magical place filled with clocks of every shape and size, each one ticking away with a rhythm that filled the air with a comforting sound. The walls were lined with shelves that held intricate watches, some with delicate gold filigree, others with colorful enamel faces, each telling its own story. Elden loved his craft. He spent his days carefully assembling the tiny gears and springs, adjusting the delicate hands, and polishing the glass faces until they gleamed like stars. Villagers often stopped by to admire his work, and the children loved to listen to the tales he told about time and the adventures that lay within every tick. But one day, as Elden was working on a particularly beautiful antique watch, something strange happened. He felt a gentle tug at his heart as he glanced at his own wrist. To his dismay, he noticed that his watch had stopped. The little hand that usually moved with purpose stood still, frozen at a time that no longer existed. Elden's heart sank, and a wave of sadness washed over him. Has time truly stopped? He whispered to himself, the words hanging in the air like a fragile thread. The silence in his workshop felt heavy, as if the world outside had paused along with the hands of his watch. Elden set down the antique watch and turned to his window, gazing at the village bustling below. Children played in the square. The laughter of friends echoed through the streets, and the sun cast a golden glow over everything. But to Elden, all this felt distant, muted by the absence of time. He sighed deeply and reached for his watch, hoping a simple twist of the crown would bring it back to life. But nothing happened. Elden tried again, turning the crown left and right, adjusting the hands as if willing them to move. Yet, it remained stubbornly still, an empty shell of what it once was. With each passing moment, he felt more and more alone, as though the ticking of the clocks around him had turned into a haunting silence. Just then, the door to his workshop swung open with a cheerful jingle, and in walked Mira, a bright-eyed girl with a heart full of curiosity. She had always admired Elden's work and loved to visit him, often asking endless questions about the clocks and their secrets. "Good day, Mr. Elden," she exclaimed, her voice bright and cheerful. "What's wrong? You look like you've seen a ghost." Elden managed a small smile, grateful for the distraction. Dear Mira, it seems that my watch has stopped," he replied, holding up his wrist for her to see. "I think time has taken a break, and I fear it may not return." Mira's eyes widened in surprise, and she stepped closer, examining the watch. "But it can't be. Time is so important. What if it never starts again?" she asked, her voice filled with concern. "I suppose we'll just have to see," Elden said, trying to keep his tone light, though the weight of the moment pressed down on him. "It has been with me for many years, and perhaps it just needs a little adjustment." Mira thought for a moment, her brow furrowing in concentration. "Maybe it just needs a friend," she declared suddenly. "What if we go on an adventure to find a way to fix it? There has to be something we can do." Elden's heart warmed at her enthusiasm. He had forgotten how lively and spirited the younger generation could be. "An adventure, you say? But where would we go?" he asked, his curiosity piqued. Mira grinned from ear to ear. "Let's explore. We can ask the villagers if they have any ideas. Maybe someone knows a secret about watches that can help." Elden chuckled softly, the sound breaking through the gloom that had settled over him. "Very well, my dear. If you think a little adventure will do us good, then let's not waste any more time." With that, Elden slipped his watch into his pocket and followed Mira out into the vibrant village, feeling a flicker of hope ignite within him. The sun shone brightly overhead, and the sounds of laughter and chatter enveloped them as they walked through the streets. As they ventured into the village square, Elden felt lighter. The children were playing games, their joyous laughter ringing out like music. The baker was selling warm, crusty bread, the aroma wafting through the air, and the florist had just delivered a fresh batch of colorful blooms that danced in the gentle breeze. Elden admired the simple beauty of the day, a stark contrast to the heaviness he felt moments before. Mira led the way, her energy infectious. She waved at her friends, calling them over to join their quest. "Come on, everyone. We're on a mission to help Mr. Elden's watch start ticking again," she announced, her voice full of excitement. The children gathered around, their eyes sparkling with interest. "What happened?" one boy asked, his face scrunched in concern. "My watch has stopped, and we need to find a way to fix it," Elden explained, feeling the warmth of their enthusiasm lift his spirits. "Let's go ask Old Man Grayson," suggested another child, pointing toward the elder who often shared stories of the village's past. "He knows a lot about watches and time." Elden nodded, grateful for the children's eagerness to help. "A wonderful idea. Let's pay him a visit." They all made their way to Old Man Grayson's cottage, a charming little house with a thatched roof and colorful flowers blooming in the garden. The air was filled with the sweet scent of lavender, and Elden felt a sense of calm wash over him. Old Man Grayson was sitting outside, his beard flowing like white clouds, and a warm smile spread across his face as he saw the children approach. What brings you here, my young adventurers?" he asked, his voice like the gentle rustling of leaves. Elden stepped forward, his heart light with hope. "We're looking for answers, dear Grayson. My watch has stopped, and we believe it might hold a secret." The old man stroked his beard thoughtfully, his eyes twinkling with wisdom. Time is a peculiar thing, my friend. It often has a way of teaching us, if we're willing to listen. Tell me, what does the watch mean to you?" Elden paused, memories flooding back. The watch was more than just a device to tell time. It was a symbol of his journey through life, of every moment he cherished, and every tick that had witnessed joy and sorrow. "It holds many memories," he replied softly. "It has seen me through laughter and tears, and I fear I may lose those moments if it remains broken." Old Man Grayson nodded slowly, understanding the weight of Elden's words. Sometimes, when time feels stagnant, it's a sign that we need to reconnect with what matters most. Perhaps it's not just the watch that needs fixing, but your heart as well. Elden felt a warmth in his chest, realizing that the old man's words rang true. "You're right. Perhaps I have forgotten the joy of sharing time with others," he admitted, looking at the eager faces of the children. Mira stepped closer, her voice steady. "We can help you remember, Mr. Elden. Let's fix the watch together." The old man smiled at their spirit, feeling the energy of the village pulsing around him.
A fine idea.
Time is always better when shared with friends. With newfound determination, Elden and the children gathered around Old Man Grayson as he began to share stories of time, clocks, and the lessons woven into each moment. As he spoke, Elden realized that the world around him was alive with possibilities, and he felt a spark of hope rekindle in his heart. The sun began to dip lower in the sky, casting a warm golden light over the village as laughter and stories filled the air. Elden's heart swelled with gratitude for the little girl who had reminded him that time wasn't just about minutes and hours. It was about the connections we forge and the memories we create. And so, with the village behind them and the promise of adventure ahead, Elden and Mira set out on a journey to find the magic that would help his watch tick once more, unaware of the wonders that awaited them just beyond the horizon. The ticking silence. With their hearts brimming with excitement, Elden and Mira made their way through the bustling village, surrounded by laughter and the sweet aroma of freshly baked bread. The sun hung high in the sky, casting a warm glow over the cobblestone streets as the village came alive with chatter and joy. Elden's spirits lifted as they approached the village square, where the townsfolk gathered, exchanging greetings and sharing stories. Children played tag, their laughter ringing like bells, while others flew colorful kites that danced against the clear blue sky. For a moment, Elden felt as if he had stepped into a painting where time flowed smoothly and worries were but whispers in the wind. "Look at all the happy faces. Mira exclaimed, her eyes sparkling. It's amazing how much joy there is when everyone is together. Elden nodded, a smile creeping onto his face. You're right, my dear. Sometimes we need to pause and appreciate the moments we share with others. As they reached the center of the square, Mira turned to Elden. Where should we start looking for answers about your watch? She asked, her brow furrowed in concentration. Elden scratched his head, considering. Perhaps we should talk to some of the villagers. They might have seen or heard something that could help us. Just then, a familiar figure caught his eye. It was Anna, the baker's daughter, with flour dusting her cheeks and a smile that could brighten the gloomiest day. Elden, Mira, she called, waving enthusiastically. What are you two up to? We're on a quest, Mira announced proudly, her hands on her hips. Elden's watch has stopped, and we're trying to find a way to fix it. Anna's eyes widened in curiosity. Oh no, that's terrible. We need to help. Come on, let's ask my dad. He always has great ideas. Elden felt a surge of warmth at the children's eagerness to help. Thank you, Anna. Let's go see your father, he replied, his heart lightened by their enthusiasm. They rushed to the bakery, where the sweet scent of pastries and bread filled the air. Mr. Baker was busy kneading dough, his hands skillfully shaping it as he hummed a cheerful tune. When he saw the trio approaching, he wiped his hands on his apron and beamed at them. Hello, my little adventurers. What brings you here? He asked, his voice full of warmth. Mr. Baker, we need your help, Mira exclaimed, jumping up and down. Elden's watch has stopped, and we're trying to fix it. Mr. Baker paused, his brow furrowing with concern. Oh, dear. That's no good. Time is so important. Let's see what we can do. The baker set aside his work and beckoned them to follow him to the back of the bakery, where he kept his tools and supplies. The air was warm and fragrant, filled with the smell of bread rising in the oven. Elden felt a wave of comfort wash over him as they gathered around a large wooden table. Now, Elden, let's have a look at your watch, Mr. Baker said, his eyes sparkling with curiosity. Elden pulled the watch from his pocket, carefully placing it on the table. It was a beautiful piece, with intricate engravings on its casing, but now it lay still, as if trapped in a moment that had long since passed. Mr. Baker mused, examining it closely. It's a fine watch. A piece like this must hold many stories. Let's see if we can discover its secret. As he inspected the watch, Mira and Anna peered over his shoulder, their eyes wide with wonder. Elden watched intently, holding his breath, hoping that the baker might find the answer to their problem. Sometimes, watches stop because they simply need to be wound, Mr. Baker explained, his fingers tracing the delicate gears inside. Or perhaps they're in need of a good cleaning. Dust and dirt can accumulate and cause them to stop ticking. It's like a person getting tired and needing rest. Can we help clean it? Mira asked, her enthusiasm infectious. I want to make sure it's perfect. Of course, Mr. Baker chuckled. Let's gather some tools and get to work. We'll need some tiny brushes and cloths. With renewed energy, the children scurried around the bakery, gathering supplies while Elden watched, a warm smile on his face. For the first time since his watch had stopped, he felt a glimmer of hope. As they cleaned the delicate inner workings, Elden shared stories of the watch. He told them about the day he had received it, a gift from his late father, who had been a master watchmaker himself. He spoke of the many memories it held, the laughter of family gatherings, the quiet moments spent tinkering in his workshop, and the adventures he had taken throughout his life. It's as if every tick holds a piece of my heart, Elden said, his voice tinged with nostalgia. I want to cherish those moments, and I fear I might lose them if the watch remains broken. The children listened intently, their eyes wide with admiration. We'll help you make new memories, Anna declared, her voice filled with determination. Once they had cleaned the watch, Mr. Baker handed it back to Elden. Now, let's see if winding it will bring it back to life, he said, a glint of excitement in his eyes. Elden took a deep breath and carefully wound the watch, turning the crown slowly and gently. He felt the tension in the spring and closed his eyes, hoping that this would bring back the ticking sound that had been absent for too long. Suddenly, a gentle tick echoed in the quiet room, followed by another. Elden's eyes flew open, and he could hardly believe what he was hearing. The watch was ticking again. With each turn of the crown, the little hand began to move, and soon the watch was alive with the rhythm of time. "It's working. It's really working," Mira exclaimed, jumping up and down with glee. The warmth in Elden's heart spread, filling him with joy. "Thank you, all of you. This means so much to me," he said, his voice thick with emotion. As the sound of ticking filled the air, it felt as though time itself had returned. Elden glanced at the faces of the children, their smiles bright and full of joy. He realized then that it was not just the watch that needed attention. It was the connections he had with the people around him, the love and laughter that had been missing in his life. "Now, we need to share this moment with the village," Elden said, his voice steady with resolve. "This watch has a story to tell, and I want everyone to hear it." With that, the group left the bakery, Elden's heart light and full of hope. They made their way back to the village square, where the townsfolk had gathered to celebrate the day. As they arrived, Elden felt a rush of excitement. He was ready to share the magic of the watch and the importance of time. Mira and Anna called out to their friends, gathering the villagers together. Elden stood at the center of the square, his heart pounding with anticipation. "Everyone, I have a story to share," he called out, his voice echoing in the warm afternoon air. The villagers turned their attention to him, curious and eager to listen. With the watch safely in his hand, Elden began to tell the tale of how time had stopped for him and how the children had helped him restore it. He spoke of the adventures they had shared, the laughter that had filled the air, and the importance of cherishing each moment. As he spoke, the watch ticked steadily in his hand, its sound a reminder of the journey he had taken and the lessons he had learned. The villagers listened intently, their eyes shining with interest. "Time is precious," Elden continued, "not just for keeping track of our days, but for the memories we create with each tick. It is in the laughter of friends, the warmth of family, and the connections we forge with one another that we truly find the magic of time." The villagers nodded in agreement, their hearts swelling with understanding. Elden could see the impact of his words as they resonated with everyone gathered around. "Let us celebrate this gift of time together," he declared, his voice rising with passion. "Let's share our stories, our laughter, and our moments, for they are what truly matter." As the sun began to set, casting a golden hue over the village, the townsfolk erupted in cheers. They shared their stories, laughter ringing through the air as they celebrated the bonds that tied them together. Elden felt a warmth spread through him, the ticking of his watch a soothing reminder that time was indeed moving forward, filled with possibilities. As the stars began to twinkle in the night sky, Elden realized that the watch was not just a timekeeper. It was a reminder to cherish every moment, to appreciate the people in his life, and to never take a single tick for granted. And so, surrounded by laughter, friendship, and the soft ticking of the watch, Elden knew that time had not truly stopped. It had merely taken a pause, inviting him to adjust his heart and reconnect with the magic of life. With Mira, Anna, and the villagers by his side, he felt ready for the adventures that lay ahead, knowing that together, they could face whatever challenges came their way. The hidden clue. The village celebration continued long into the evening, filled with laughter, dancing, and the sharing of stories that wove the fabric of their community together. Elden felt a warmth in his heart, grateful for the connections he had rekindled and the joy that had returned to his life. As he shared tales of his past, the laughter of children echoed around him, and he couldn't help but smile at how quickly the world had brightened. But as the night wore on, Elden's thoughts drifted back to the watch that had started it all. It was no longer just a piece of machinery. It had become a symbol of the friendships he had formed and the moments he cherished. With each tick, it reminded him of the journey he was on, a journey that was not just about time, but about the love and joy that filled the spaces between. The villagers began to gather around a large bonfire in the square, the flames crackling and flickering as the shadows danced across their faces. Elden, Mira, and Anna settled onto a log beside the fire, their faces illuminated by the warm glow. "Mr. Elden," Mira began, her eyes wide with curiosity, "do you think your watch has any more secrets to share?" Elden pondered her question, holding the watch in his palm. "Perhaps it does," he replied, intrigued by the thought. Watches often have stories hidden within them, waiting for the right moment to be discovered. Anna leaned closer, her curiosity piqued. "What kind of stories?" Elden chuckled softly, a spark of inspiration igniting within him. "Well, many watches have engravings, special marks that tell us about their journey. This one might have a secret of its own." With that, Elden gently turned the watch over, examining the intricate engravings on the back. There, amid the swirls and designs, he noticed something unusual, a small inscription that he had never seen before. It was faint, almost hidden in the ornate patterns. "What's that?" Mira asked, leaning in to get a closer look. Elden squinted, trying to decipher the letters. "It appears to say, 'Follow the tick to find the magic,'" he read aloud, his voice filled with wonder. "Follow the tick?" Anna repeated, her brows furrowing. "What do you think it means?" Elden considered the words carefully. "Perhaps it's a riddle, a clue that leads us to something special," he mused. "But what could it mean? The watch ticks, and it measures time, but how do we follow it?" Mira's eyes sparkled with excitement. "Maybe it means we need to go on an adventure to discover what the magic is." Elden smiled at her enthusiasm, feeling the pull of curiosity. "It sounds like an adventure worth pursuing. We can start tomorrow, but first, let's celebrate tonight." As the villagers sang songs and shared tales around the bonfire, Elden felt a sense of unity and joy. The fire crackled, sending sparks flying into the night sky like tiny stars, and the warmth enveloped him, reminding him of the bonds he had forged with the community. That night, as the festivities continued, Elden found himself dreaming of possibilities. In his dreams, the watch led him through a forest filled with glittering lights and gentle whispers of the past. He envisioned a path illuminated by the rhythmic ticking of time, guiding him to treasures hidden in the world and memories waiting to be uncovered. The next morning dawned bright and clear, with the sun casting golden rays across the village. Elden woke with a renewed sense of purpose, eager to unravel the mystery of the hidden inscription. After breakfast, he gathered Mira and Anna, ready to embark on their adventure. "Are you two ready?" he asked, a twinkle in his eye. "Yes," they exclaimed in unison, their excitement infectious. "Great. We need to find a way to follow the tick. Maybe we can start by visiting some of the older villagers. They might have stories or clues about this magic," Elden suggested. They set off through the village, the air crisp and full of possibility. As they walked, they passed familiar faces and exchanged greetings with the townsfolk. Elden felt a surge of gratitude for the community that had embraced him and the children. Their first stop was Mrs. Thompson, a wise old woman known for her tales of the past. Her cottage was filled with plants and flowers, the vibrant colors inviting them in. When they knocked on her door, she opened it with a warm smile. "Ah, my dear Elden, and you two lovely children. What brings you here today?" she asked, her voice like a gentle breeze. "Mrs. Thompson, we're on a quest," Mira declared, her excitement bubbling over. "Elden's watch has a riddle, and we need your help to solve it." "A riddle, you say? How intriguing," Mrs. Thompson replied, her eyes sparkling with curiosity. Come in. I love a good riddle." They settled around her cozy kitchen table, where the scent of fresh tea wafted through the air. Elden explained the inscription on the watch, and Mrs. Thompson listened intently. "Follow the tick to find the magic, you say?" she murmured, tapping her chin thoughtfully. "Well, time is a precious thing. It flows like a river, and it can lead us to hidden wonders if we pay attention." "What do you think it means?" Anna asked, her eyes wide with anticipation. Mrs. Thompson smiled knowingly. It could mean that time holds secrets that are revealed when we listen closely. There are places in this village where time feels different, like the old oak tree in the center of the meadow or the ancient well by the river. Perhaps you should visit those places. Elden's heart raced at the idea. Thank you, Mrs. Thompson. We'll explore those spots. Your wisdom always shines light on our paths. As they left her cottage, the children buzzed with excitement. Let's go to the old oak tree first, Mira suggested, her voice bubbling with enthusiasm. The old oak tree stood proudly in the center of a meadow, its branches reaching out like welcoming arms. When they arrived, Elden felt a sense of reverence for the ancient tree, which had stood witness to countless moments of time. Do you think time has secrets to share here? Elden wondered aloud, glancing at the children. I bet it does, Anna exclaimed, running her fingers over the gnarled bark. It feels like a wise old friend. As they gathered around the tree, Elden closed his eyes for a moment, allowing the whispers of the breeze to wash over him. Let's listen closely. Maybe we can hear the tick of time here, he suggested. Mira and Anna pressed their ears against the tree, their faces filled with concentration. After a few moments, Mira sat back up, her eyes shining. I think I can hear something. It's like a gentle heartbeat. Elden joined them, placing his hand against the trunk. Indeed, there was a rhythm, a pulse that resonated deep within the tree. It's almost as if the tree is reminding us to appreciate the moments we share, he said softly. Just then, Anna noticed something glinting in the grass near the roots of the tree. What's that? She asked, bending down to investigate. She reached out and picked up a small, tarnished key, its surface covered in dirt, but its shape still distinct. A key, Mira exclaimed, her eyes wide. What do you think it opens? Elden took the key, examining it closely. It's quite old. It might belong to something special, perhaps even to a treasure hidden away by time itself. Should we find out where it goes? Anna asked, her voice filled with excitement. Elden nodded, feeling the thrill of adventure surge through him. Yes, let's keep it safe and see if we can find a lock it fits. They carefully placed the key in Elden's pocket and headed toward the ancient well by the river, the next stop on their adventure. The sound of rushing water filled the air as they approached, the river sparkling in the sunlight. The well was covered in vibrant green vines, and its stone walls held the memories of many seasons. This place feels magical, Mira whispered, glancing around in awe. Elden stepped closer to the well, feeling drawn to its depths. Sometimes, wells can reveal secrets when we listen closely, he said, recalling tales he had heard as a child. What do you mean? Anna asked, tilting her head in confusion. When you look into a well, you might see reflections of your own memories or hints of what lies ahead, Elden explained, peering into the cool, dark water. Can we try? Mira asked eagerly, stepping up to the edge of the well. One by one, they leaned over the edge, looking down into the water. As Elden gazed into the depths, he was surprised to see not only his own reflection but also images of moments he cherished, his father smiling as they worked together, the laughter of the children in the village, and the joy of the celebration they had shared the night before. Look, he exclaimed, pointing at the shimmering surface. Do you see the memories? Mira gasped in delight, her eyes sparkling. It's beautiful. It's like the well is showing us what time means to us. Anna's expression shifted as she saw something else in the water. Wait, look there. Is that a map? Elden leaned in closer, his heart racing as he focused on the swirling reflections. As the ripples settled, a faint outline of a map emerged, leading from the well toward a distant spot in the forest. This must be a clue, Elden said, excitement bubbling within him. It could lead us to the magic. Mira jumped up, clapping her hands in glee. Let's follow it. With newfound determination, the trio set off into the forest, following the direction indicated by the map. They wove between trees, the sounds of nature surrounding them, a symphony of rustling leaves and chirping birds. Elden felt a sense of connection to the world around him, as if each step echoed the heartbeat of time itself. After a short walk, they arrived at a small clearing. In the center stood a large stone, covered in moss and vines. Its surface was smooth, but Elden could sense an energy emanating from it. "This must be the place," he said, glancing at the children, who looked at him with wide eyes. "Let's see if we can discover what lies ahead." As they approached the stone, the sunlight broke through the canopy above, casting a warm glow on its surface. Elden placed his hand on the stone, feeling a pulse beneath his fingertips, a rhythmic beat that matched the ticking of his watch. "What do you think we should do?" Anna asked, her voice filled with wonder. "Perhaps we need to unlock its secrets with the key," Elden suggested, feeling the thrill of anticipation. He reached into his pocket, retrieving the tarnished key and holding it up to the stone. As he examined the smooth surface, he noticed a small, keyhole-shaped depression hidden beneath the moss. "Here," he exclaimed, kneeling down to clean the area. With a steady hand, he inserted the key into the hole. It fit perfectly, as if it had been waiting for this moment. With a gentle turn, Elden felt a click, and suddenly, the stone shimmered with light. The children gasped in amazement as symbols began to glow on its surface, illuminating the clearing with a soft, ethereal light. "What's happening?" Mira asked, her voice a mix of excitement and awe. Elden's heart raced. "I think it's revealing its magic. Let's pay close attention." The symbols danced before their eyes, telling a story of time, connection, and love. Elden felt tears well up as he realized the message they conveyed. It was a reminder of the importance of cherishing each moment, of living in the present, and of sharing those moments with the people who mattered most. As the light began to fade, the children stood in silence, absorbing the beauty of what they had witnessed. "That was incredible," Anna exclaimed, her eyes shining with wonder. "Yes," Elden agreed, a warmth spreading through him. "The magic of time is all around us, and it's up to us to embrace it and create our own stories." Mira grinned, her cheeks flushed with excitement. "We're going to create so many memories together." With hearts full of joy and a newfound understanding of the magic that existed in their lives, Elden, Mira, and Anna made their way back to the village. The ticking of Elden's watch echoed in the background, a constant reminder that time, like a river, flows onward, carrying with it the moments that shape who they are. And as they walked hand in hand, Elden felt a deep sense of gratitude for the adventure they had shared, the lessons they had learned, and the friendships they had forged. They were no longer just following the tick of time. They were living it, creating magic together, and ready to embrace whatever lay ahead. The secrets of the forest. As Elden, Mira, and Anna made their way back to the village, the warm sun began to dip below the horizon, painting the sky in vibrant hues of orange, pink, and purple. The path felt alive beneath their feet, each step resonating with the joy of discovery. Elden couldn't help but glance at the children, their faces aglow with excitement and wonder from their adventure. "Can you believe we found the key and unlocked the stone's magic?" Mira exclaimed, her voice bubbling over with enthusiasm. "I can't wait to tell everyone about it," Anna added, her eyes wide with excitement. "This is going to be the best story ever." Elden smiled, feeling a warm glow in his heart. Indeed, it is a wonderful story, a story that reminds us of the magic in our lives. But I have a feeling this is only the beginning. With their hearts racing in anticipation, they arrived at the village square, where the last remnants of the celebration were winding down. Elden noticed familiar faces gathered around, and their stories, laughter, and warmth welcomed them back like a cozy blanket. "Mr. Elden, you're back," called out a cheerful voice. It was Benny, a playful boy from the village who loved to join in on adventures. "Did you find any treasures?" he asked, his eyes sparkling with curiosity. "Yes, "We found a key and unlocked a stone that revealed magic." Mira replied, her excitement infectious. "A stone? What kind of magic?" Benny asked, leaning in closer, eager to hear the tale. Elden took a deep breath, ready to share their adventure. "Come, gather around. Let me tell you all about it." The children quickly settled in, their faces turned up toward Elden, eager for the story. As he recounted the events of the day, the hidden inscription on his watch, the discovery of the key, and the magical symbols on the stone, his words wove a tapestry of imagination and wonder. As the tale unfolded, Elden noticed that more villagers had gathered to listen. The evening light flickered around them, creating a magical atmosphere. Each person leaned in closer, drawn to the excitement and energy of the children's adventure. When Elden finished, a round of applause erupted, filling the square with joyful noise. "What a beautiful story," Mrs. Thompson said, her eyes shining. "You have all discovered something precious together." "Can we explore the forest too?" Benny asked, his voice eager. "I want to find my own magic." Elden's heart swelled with pride. "Of course, there's plenty of magic to be found if you look closely." That night, as the stars twinkled above, Elden lay in bed, thinking of the day's adventures. The mysteries of the forest whispered to him like a gentle lullaby. He wondered what other secrets lay hidden beneath the trees, waiting to be discovered. The next morning, Elden awoke with a renewed sense of purpose. Inspired by the children's enthusiasm, he decided it was time to explore the forest further. He wanted to find out what other wonders awaited them. After breakfast, he called Mira, Anna, and Benny together. "Are you ready for another adventure?" he asked, his eyes gleaming. "Absolutely," they chorused, bouncing with excitement. Elden led them toward the edge of the village and into the forest, the air fresh and filled with the sense of pine and wildflowers. As they ventured deeper, the sounds of the village faded, replaced by the gentle rustle of leaves and the songs of birds flitting from branch to branch. "Look at all the different plants," Mira exclaimed, pointing to a cluster of bright wildflowers swaying in the breeze. "They're so pretty." "They remind me of the colors in the sunset," Anna added, her eyes sparkling. "Nature is like a painting." "Exactly. Each part of the forest is like a piece of art," Elden said, guiding them along the narrow path. "And if we listen carefully, it may reveal more secrets." As they walked, Elden shared stories of his childhood adventures in the woods, how he would climb trees, build forts, and imagine himself as a brave explorer. The children listened with rapt attention, their imaginations igniting with visions of their own adventures. Suddenly, Benny stopped in his tracks. "What's that?" he asked, pointing ahead. Elden squinted, trying to see what had caught Benny's attention. "Let's take a closer look." They approached a small, sparkling creek that wound through the forest, its clear waters bubbling over smooth stones. Sunlight danced on the surface, creating a mesmerizing display. "Wow, it's like a river of diamonds," Mira said, her voice filled with awe. "Let's see if we can find any special rocks or treasures," Benny exclaimed, kneeling by the water. Elden joined them, carefully picking up stones and examining them. "Sometimes, the stones tell stories of their own," he explained. "Each one is unique, shaped by the water and time." As they sifted through the stones, Anna spotted something unusual. "Look, this one is different," she exclaimed, holding up a smooth, iridescent stone that glimmered in the sunlight. "It's like it's glowing." Elden leaned closer, intrigued. "That's beautiful, Anna. It looks like a moonstone." These stones are said to hold magic and dreams. "What kind of dreams?" Mira asked, her eyes wide. "They can inspire hope and imagination, guiding you to your heart's desires," Elden replied, feeling a sense of wonder. "Perhaps it can help us find the next part of our adventure." They decided to keep the moonstone safe, placing it gently in Elden's pocket. With their spirits high, they continued down the path, laughing and chatting as they went. After a while, they stumbled upon a glade filled with tall, ancient trees. Sunlight filtered through the leaves, casting playful shadows on the ground. In the center of the glade stood a massive tree, its trunk wider than any they had seen before, with deep grooves carved into its bark. "Look how big it is," Benny said, awed. "It must be really old." Elden approached the tree, feeling a connection to its history. "This tree has witnessed generations come and go," he said softly, placing a hand on the rough bark. "It has stories to tell." As they gathered around the tree, Elden closed his eyes and listened intently, hoping to hear the whispers of time. Suddenly, a gentle breeze rustled the leaves, and he felt a sense of peace wash over him. "Mr. Elden, what do you think the tree is saying?" Mira asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Elden opened his eyes and smiled. "I believe it's reminding us of the importance of our roots, where we come from, and the connections we share." Benny, feeling inspired, suggested, "Let's each make a wish and see if the tree can hear us." "That sounds wonderful," Anna agreed, her face lighting up. "What should we wish for?" They each took a moment to think, closing their eyes as they made their wishes. Elden wished for continued friendship and adventure, while Mira hoped for the courage to chase her dreams, and Anna wished for endless curiosity. Benny wished for the magic of the forest to stay with them forever. After making their wishes, they hugged the tree, feeling a surge of energy pass through them. "I can feel the magic," Benny exclaimed, stepping back with excitement. "It's like the tree is alive." Elden chuckled. "The magic is all around us, waiting to be discovered." As they left the glade, Elden felt a renewed sense of purpose. The forest held many secrets, and he was determined to uncover them, not just for himself, but for the children as well. They made their way through the forest, sharing stories, laughter, and the joy of exploration. Hours passed as they wandered deeper into the woods, their laughter echoing through the trees. They stumbled upon a small, hidden waterfall cascading over smooth rocks, creating a shimmering pool at its base. The sight took their breath away. "Can we swim?" Mira asked, her eyes sparkling with excitement. "Only if it's safe," Elden replied, scanning the water. The sun created a perfect rainbow in the mist that rose from the falls. It looked like a secret paradise. After ensuring it was safe, they took off their shoes and dipped their toes into the cool water. "It's amazing," Anna squealed, splashing water playfully. The sound of laughter mingled with the rushing water, creating a joyful melody. Elden watched them, his heart swelling with happiness. These moments, filled with laughter, exploration, and the thrill of discovery, were the magic he had longed for. They were creating memories that would last a lifetime. After splashing around, they settled on a flat rock nearby, basking in the warmth of the sun. Elden pulled out the moonstone and held it up, letting the light catch its surface. "This stone is special," he said, looking at the children. "It symbolizes the dreams we've shared today." "What do you think will happen next?" Anna asked, her eyes reflecting the glimmer of the stone. "I believe this adventure is just the beginning," Elden replied, feeling the excitement build within him. "We've uncovered magic, made wishes, and strengthened our friendships. There's so much more waiting for us." As the sun began to set, casting golden rays across the forest, they reluctantly prepared to head back to the village. Each child carried a small token from their day, wildflowers, pebbles, and memories to treasure. Walking back, Elden felt a sense of fulfillment. The forest had shared its secrets, and they had embraced its magic together. As they neared the village, Elden knew that their adventure was far from over. There were more mysteries to uncover and stories to share. With laughter echoing in their hearts, Elden, Mira, Anna, and Benny returned to the village, ready to continue their journey, exploring the magic that existed not just in the forest, but in each other and the moments they shared. The ticking of Elden's watch reminded them that time was a precious gift, an invitation to live fully, love deeply, and create magic in every moment. As the stars twinkled overhead that night, They fell asleep dreaming of the adventures yet to come, knowing that as long as they had each other, the magic of the forest would always be a part of their lives. The Enchanted Hollow. The next day dawned bright and clear, the sun casting a golden glow over the village. Elden awoke with a sense of excitement bubbling in his chest. Today was going to be different. Today, he would lead the children to an area of the forest that had long been a mystery to him, a place whispered about in tales told around the village fire. It was known as the Enchanted Hollow, a hidden grove said to hold wonders beyond imagination. Elden quickly dressed and headed to the village square, where Mira, Anna, and Benny were already waiting, their faces alight with anticipation. "What's the plan for today?" Mira asked, bouncing on her toes. "I want to take you to the Enchanted Hollow," Elden replied, his eyes sparkling with excitement. "But first, we must prepare for our adventure." "Prepare? What do we need?" Anna asked, her head tilted in curiosity. "A few supplies, some snacks, a water bottle, and maybe a notebook to jot down our discoveries," Elden explained. "And most importantly, we need a map." Benny's eyes widened. "A map? That sounds amazing. Can we draw our own?" "Absolutely." Elden grinned. "Let's make this adventure our own." After gathering their supplies, they set off toward the forest, each child carrying their share of snacks and a small notebook to capture their thoughts. Elden led them along the familiar paths, but today, his heart raced with the promise of the unknown. As they walked deeper into the woods, the trees grew denser, their branches interlocking above like the arms of old friends. Sunlight streamed through the leaves, creating a patchwork of light and shadow on the forest floor. "Do you think we'll find anything magical today?" Mira asked, looking up at the towering trees. "I believe we will," Elden replied, feeling a thrill of hope. The forest is alive with secrets, waiting for us to uncover them. They continued on, the sound of crunching leaves beneath their feet adding to the symphony of nature surrounding them. After a while, they arrived at a small stream, its waters babbling merrily as it wound through the forest. "This is where the map says to turn," Elden said, glancing down at the rough sketch he had made. "Wow, look at all the tiny fish," Benny exclaimed, peering into the clear water. "They're so fast." "They must be playing tag," Anna giggled, clapping her hands in delight. Elden smiled, watching the children's joyful spirits. "Let's cross here and continue toward the hollow." After safely crossing the stream, they trekked further into the woods, the trees gradually giving way to a more open space. The air felt different, infused with a magic that tickled their senses. Elden could sense they were close to the Enchanted Hollow. "Can you feel that?" he asked the children, who nodded in excitement. "The air feels alive here." As they stepped into a sun-drenched clearing, the sight that greeted them took their breath away. The Enchanted Hollow was a lush oasis, filled with vibrant flowers of every color imaginable, their petals swaying gently in the breeze. In the center stood a massive tree with shimmering leaves that sparkled as if dusted with starlight. "Wow," Mira gasped, her hands clasped together in awe. "It's beautiful." "It's more magnificent than I imagined," Anna added, her eyes wide with wonder. Elden took a deep breath, letting the fragrance of the flowers envelop him. "Welcome to the Enchanted Hollow. This place is said to be filled with magic, where nature and dreams intertwine." As they stepped further into the hollow, they noticed tiny creatures flitting among the flowers, fairy-like beings with delicate wings that sparkled like diamonds. The children gasped in delight as one of the tiny creatures paused to look at them, its eyes twinkling with mischief. "Do you think they're real?" Benny whispered, his voice filled with excitement. "They could be," Elden said, kneeling to get a better look. "This place is filled with wonders that stretch the imagination." Suddenly, the creature darted closer, hovering in front of Elden. It tilted its head, as if assessing him. Elden felt a surge of warmth as the creature's presence wrapped around him like a gentle embrace. "What do you want from us?" Elden asked softly, intrigued by the little being's curious gaze. With a flick of its tiny wings, the creature began to dance in midair, creating swirls of sparkling dust that shimmered in the sunlight. The children clapped and laughed, captivated by the enchanting display. "Maybe it wants us to follow it," Mira suggested, her eyes shining. Elden nodded, feeling the pull of adventure. "Let's see where it leads us." They followed the tiny creature as it flitted through the hollow, weaving between flowers and darting in and out of sunlight. The children chased after it, their laughter ringing like music through the air. Elden felt a deep sense of joy, watching them embrace the magic of the moment. After a short chase, the creature led them to a hidden nook in the hollow, where a small pond sparkled like a gem. The surface shimmered, reflecting the sky above and the surrounding flowers in a kaleidoscope of colors. "This is so beautiful," Anna exclaimed, crouching down to touch the water. "It looks like a mirror." Elden approached the edge of the pond, feeling a sense of peace wash over him. This pond is said to hold dreams and wishes. If you look closely, you may see your heart's desire reflected back at you. The children leaned over the water, peering into its depths. They gasped as they saw images swirling in the pond, visions of adventures yet to come, dreams waiting to be fulfilled. "What do you see?" Elden asked, his heart racing with anticipation. "I see us flying," Mira shouted, her eyes sparkling. "We're soaring through the clouds." "I see us finding hidden treasures in the forest," Benny exclaimed, his imagination running wild. I see a big book full of stories," Anna added, her voice filled with excitement. "Stories that we can write together." Elden smiled, feeling warmth in his heart. "Those are beautiful dreams. Remember, we have the power to create our own stories and adventures." As the children continued to gaze into the pond, Elden felt a gentle breeze sweep through the hollow. The tiny creature fluttered around them, leaving trails of shimmering dust in its wake, as if encouraging them to chase their dreams. "Let's make a wish," Benny suggested, excitement bubbling over. "We can each wish for something special." "Great idea," Mira's agreed. "What should we wish for?" Elden thought for a moment. "How about we wish for courage, creativity, and friendship? Those are the greatest treasures we can hold." The children nodded in agreement, closing their eyes and taking a deep breath. Elden joined them, feeling a sense of unity as they shared their wishes with the universe. When they opened their eyes, the creature danced around them in joyful spirals, as if celebrating their wishes. "I think it likes our wishes," Anna giggled. "I believe it's telling us that our dreams are already within reach," Elden said, feeling the magic of the moment envelop them. "Now, let's explore more of this enchanting place." They spent the afternoon wandering through the hollow, discovering hidden corners and sharing stories as they went. Elden showed them how to identify different plants and flowers, sharing tales of the forest's history and the creatures that called it home. As they explored, they stumbled upon a patch of glowing mushrooms that pulsed softly with light. "Look at those," Mira exclaimed, kneeling to touch one gently. "They're like little lanterns." Elden grinned. "Those are called fairy mushrooms. It's said that they light the way for lost travelers." "Can we take some home?" Benny asked, eyes shining with curiosity. "Only if we take care to leave some behind for others to enjoy," Elden replied wisely. "The magic of the forest is best shared, just like our stories." As the sun began to set, casting long shadows through the hollow, Elden gathered the children around the pond once more. "This is a special place," he said, his voice soft. "Remember today, for it holds the magic of friendship and adventure." They all sat together, watching as the colors of the sky changed, the sun dipping below the horizon. The hollow was bathed in warm hues of gold and purple, a beautiful backdrop for their memories. "I'll never forget this day," Anna said, leaning against Elden's shoulder. "Neither will I," Mira added, beaming. "We should come back and explore more." "Yes," Elden agreed, his heart swelling with joy. And we will. The Enchanted Hollow will always be a part of our story. As the stars began to twinkle in the evening sky, they made their way back to the village, hearts full and spirits high. The laughter of children echoed in the air, mingling with the sounds of the forest, creating a beautiful melody. Elden felt a sense of contentment as they walked, knowing that the adventures they shared were not just about exploring the forest, but also about the bonds they were forming. The magic of the Enchanted Hollow would remain with them, reminding them that every moment held the potential for adventure and connection. That night, as Elden lay in bed, he thought about the wonders they had discovered and the dreams they had shared. He knew there would be more adventures to come, more secrets to uncover, and more magic waiting for them in the world. And so, with a heart full of hope and dreams, he drifted into a peaceful sleep, ready to embrace the adventures that tomorrow would bring. The whispers of the night. The next morning brought with it a gentle mist that hung low over the village, creating a dreamlike atmosphere. Elden awoke with a sense of wonder lingering from the magical day at the Enchanted Hollow. He could hardly contain his excitement as he thought about what adventures awaited him and the children. They had forged a bond that felt unbreakable, each day adding another thread to the tapestry of their friendship. After breakfast, Elden gathered Mira, Anna, and Benny once more. "Are you ready for another adventure?" he asked, his eyes twinkling with mischief. "Yes," they chorused, their enthusiasm contagious. "Today, we're going to explore the forest at night," Elden announced, watching their faces light up with anticipation. "Night? But isn't it dark?" Anna asked, a hint of uncertainty creeping into her voice. "It is, but that's part of the magic," Elden reassured her. "The forest transforms at night, revealing wonders that we can't see during the day. We'll be safe as long as we stick together." Benny's eyes widened with excitement. "What do you think we'll see?" "Maybe glowing creatures and sparkling stars," Mira added, bouncing on her toes. After gathering their supplies, glow sticks, a small lantern, and a few snacks, they set off toward the forest once more. The sun hung low in the sky, casting a warm golden hue over everything. Elden led them along the familiar path, sharing stories about the forest and the secrets it held. As dusk approached, they arrived at the edge of the woods. The trees stood tall and proud, their branches reaching toward the sky like ancient guardians. Elden paused, taking a moment to let the children absorb the beauty around them. "Are you ready to step into the night?" he asked, a hint of excitement in his voice. The children nodded eagerly, and they entered the forest, the daylight fading behind them. The world around them transformed as they ventured deeper. Shadows danced among the trees, and the sounds of nature shifted, creating an enchanting symphony of whispers. "Look," Anna exclaimed, pointing toward the ground. "There are fireflies." The soft glow of the fireflies twinkled like stars, lighting their path as they wandered deeper into the forest. Elden smiled at the sight. "They're like tiny fairies guiding us. Let's follow them." The children giggled as they chased the flickering lights, their laughter echoing through the trees. The glow sticks in their hands added to the magical atmosphere, illuminating their faces and creating a whimsical scene. After a while, they reached a small clearing where the trees parted to reveal a sparkling pond. The surface of the water reflected the moonlight, making it look like 1,000 diamonds lay scattered across the pond.
Wow.
"It's so beautiful," Benny exclaimed, his eyes wide in wonder. "Just wait," Elden said, a knowing smile on his face. "Watch what happens when the moon rises higher." As they settled on the grass, they watched in awe as the moon began to rise, casting a silvery glow over everything. The fireflies danced above the pond, and the children felt as if they were in a dream. Suddenly, a soft melody began to fill the air, a hauntingly beautiful tune that seemed to come from nowhere and everywhere all at once. Elden leaned in closer, feeling the music wrap around him like a warm blanket. "What is that?" Mira whispered, her eyes wide. "I don't know," Elden replied, captivated. "But it sounds like the forest is singing to us." Entranced, they closed their eyes and let the melody wash over them. As they listened, they could almost hear the whispers of the forest, stories of ancient trees, playful spirits, and hidden treasures waiting to be found. As the night wore on, the children shared their thoughts and dreams, encouraged by this soothing atmosphere. Anna spoke of wanting to explore far-off lands. Mira expressed her desire to become an artist and capture the beauty around her, and Benny shared his dream of being a brave explorer, discovering new worlds. "I want to write stories about our adventures," Elden said, feeling inspired by their dreams. "We can create our own tales, filled with magic and wonder." With their imaginations ignited, the children started to share ideas for their stories, building off each other's suggestions. They laughed and created characters together: a brave squirrel who wore a tiny cape, a wise owl who spoke in riddles, and a mischievous fox who loved to play tricks. As they continued to weave their stories, a sudden rustle in the bushes caught their attention. They all turned, eyes wide with curiosity. "Do you think it's a magical creature?" Benny asked, his voice barely above a whisper. "Only one way to find out," Elden replied, heart racing with excitement. "Let's take a look." They approached the bushes cautiously, their hearts pounding in their chests. Elden raised the lantern, casting a warm glow toward the source of the noise. To their surprise, a small creature emerged, an adorable baby raccoon, its fur soft and fluffy, with bright, curious eyes. "Ah, look at it," Mira exclaimed, her heart melting at the sight. "It's so cute." The baby raccoon sniffed the air, its tiny nose twitching as it approached the group. Elden knelt down, extending his hand slowly. The raccoon hesitated for a moment, but then cautiously approached, sniffing Elden's fingers. "It looks like it wants to be our friend," Elden said, grinning. "Maybe it's a sign of good luck." Benny clapped his hands in delight. "Can we keep it?" "Not as a pet," Elden explained gently, "but we can be its friends for a while. Let's share some of our snacks with it." They offered the raccoon bits of their snacks, and to their joy, it eagerly accepted the food. The children giggled as the little creature nibbled on the treats, its tiny paws clutching the morsels adorably. As they shared their snacks, Elden felt a connection with the raccoon, as if it were part of their adventure. "What should we name it?" he asked, looking at the children. "How about Bandit?" Anna suggested, her eyes sparkling with excitement. "Because it has a mask like a little bandit." "I love it," Mira chimed in. "Bandit it is." With their new friend Bandit happily munching away, the children continued their storytelling, weaving the raccoon into their tales. They imagined daring adventures with Bandit as their sidekick, exploring the forest and overcoming obstacles together. As the moon reached its highest point in the sky, casting a silvery glow over everything, the children grew quiet, feeling the magic of the moment. They knew they had created something special together, a bond that would last a lifetime. But as the night deepened, Elden noticed the air growing cooler, a gentle breeze sweeping through the clearing. "It's getting late," he said softly. "We should start heading back before it gets too dark." Reluctantly, the children nodded, feeling the weight of their adventure settle in their hearts. "Can we take Bandit with us?" Benny asked, looking at the little raccoon with hopeful eyes. "Bandit belongs in the forest, just like all the magical creatures," Elden explained gently. "But we can visit him again. He'll always remember us." With that, they said their goodbyes to Bandit, who looked up at them with big, innocent eyes. It felt like a farewell filled with promise, as if they would meet again in the future. As they walked back through the forest, the children chattered excitedly about their night, recounting their favorite moments and the stories they had created together. Elden felt a deep sense of joy, knowing that they had experienced something truly special. When they finally emerged from the woods, the village was quiet, the stars twinkling overhead like diamonds scattered across a velvet sky. The children waved goodbye and promised to meet again for more adventures. "Tonight was incredible," Mira said, her eyes sparkling with happiness. "I can't wait for our next adventure," Anna added, bouncing with excitement. As Elden walked home, he reflected on the magic of the night, the music, the stories, and the connection they had forged with each other and the forest. It reminded him that the real magic lay not just in the wonders of nature, but also in the bonds of friendship that grew stronger with each shared experience. That night, as Elden lay in bed, he closed his eyes and let the memories of the evening wash over him. The melody of the forest still echoed in his mind, reminding him that every moment held the promise of magic and adventure. With a heart full of dreams and hopes, he drifted off to sleep, ready to embrace whatever tomorrow would bring. The quest for the starflower. As the days turned into weeks, Elden and the children grew closer, their adventures weaving a rich tapestry of memories filled with laughter, discovery, and friendship. Each trip into the forest revealed new wonders and secrets. They learned to identify different plants and animals, shared stories around the campfire, and even made little gifts for the creatures they encountered. One sunny afternoon, Elden gathered Mira, Anna, and Benny once again in the village square, excitement buzzing in the air. "I have a special adventure for us today," he announced, grinning from ear to ear. "What is it?" Anna asked, her curiosity piqued. "There's a rare flower known as the starflower," Elden explained. "It blooms only once a year, and it's said to grant a single wish to those who find it. It grows deep within the forest, far beyond where we've explored so far."
Wow.
"A wishing flower," Benny exclaimed, bouncing on his feet. "Let's go find it." Mira's eyes widened in excitement. "What should we wish for?" Elden thought for a moment. "We'll each get a chance to make a wish, but we have to work together to find the flower first." With that, they gathered their supplies, a map of the forest, snacks, and a few glow sticks in case they needed light later. Elden felt a spark of adventure as they set off toward the heart of the forest, eager to discover the starflower. As they walked, the trees began to change. The towering oaks and maples gave way to slender birches and colorful wildflowers. The air felt different here, thicker and filled with a sweet, floral scent. Elden led them deeper, sharing stories about the legends of the starflower. "Long ago," he began, "the starflower was believed to be a gift from the moon itself. It blooms only on the night of the first full moon in spring, and its petals shimmer like stars in the night sky. The people say that if you make a wish while holding the flower, your heart's desire will be granted." "Do you think we'll find it?" Mira asked, her eyes sparkling with hope. "I believe we can," Elden replied confidently. "But we must stay focused and keep our eyes open for any clues along the way." As they ventured deeper into the forest, they faced challenges that tested their teamwork. They crossed babbling brooks by balancing on rocks, navigated around fallen logs, and climbed gentle hills. With each challenge, they encouraged each other, their spirits soaring as they overcame obstacles together. "Look at this," Benny shouted, kneeling to examine a patch of bright blue flowers. "They look like tiny stars." Elden smiled at his enthusiasm. "They're beautiful, but we need to keep searching for the starflower. Remember to stay together." After walking for a while longer, they reached a small clearing filled with shimmering butterflies fluttering among the flowers. The sight took their breath away, and they paused to admire the colorful creatures dancing around them. "Can we take a break here?" Anna asked, her cheeks flushed from the excitement of their adventure. "Of course," Elden replied, motioning for them to sit on a nearby log. "This is a perfect spot to rest." As they settled down, the children shared stories about their wishes, each one filled with dreams and hopes for the future. Mira wanted to become an artist and travel the world. Anna dreamed of exploring distant lands, and Benny wished to discover hidden treasures in ancient ruins. "What about you, Elden?" Anna asked, tilting her head curiously. "What would you wish for?" Elden thought for a moment, a smile spreading across his face. "I think I would wish for the wisdom to guide you all on your adventures. I want to help you find the magic in every moment." The children nodded, their hearts warmed by his words. After resting, they stood up, ready to continue their quest. The excitement was palpable as they ventured forward, their eyes scanning the landscape for any sign of the starflower. "Do you think we're getting close?" Mira asked, glancing at Elden. "I feel we are," he replied, feeling a sense of anticipation building within him. "Let's follow the sound of that stream. It might lead us to a magical spot where the starflower blooms." They followed the gentle sounds of water trickling through the trees until they reached the stream, which sparkled in the sunlight. As they walked alongside it, they spotted a series of colorful stones arranged in a path across the water. "Can we cross?" Benny asked, peering at the stones with excitement. "Yes, but we need to be careful," Elden cautioned. "Take your time and watch your step." One by one, they hopped across the stones, laughter echoing as they made it to the other side. Once they reached the bank, they found themselves in another clearing, but this one felt different. The air was thick with a sweet scent of flowers, and a gentle glow emanated from the center of the clearing. "Do you see that?" Mira whispered, pointing toward a cluster of flowers in the middle of the clearing. Elden's heart raced as they approached. Nestled among the petals was a single, radiant starflower, its petals shimmering like diamonds under the sun. It was more beautiful than any of them had imagined. "We found it," Benny shouted, clapping his hands in joy. As they stood in awe of the flower's beauty, Elden explained, "Remember, each of us will get a chance to make a wish, but we should take a moment to appreciate how special this is." They gathered around the starflower, each of them feeling a mix of excitement and reverence. Elden reminded them, "Wishes are powerful. Make sure you think carefully about what you truly want." One by one, they took turns touching the delicate petals of the starflower, whispering their wishes softly. Benny went first, closing his eyes tightly. "I wish to be the greatest explorer the world has ever seen," he declared, his voice full of passion. Next was Mira. "I wish to create beautiful art that inspires everyone around me," she said, her voice soft but determined. Then it was Anna's turn. "I wish for adventures filled with magic and wonder," she exclaimed, her excitement bubbling over. Finally, it was Elden's turn. He reached out and gently touched the starflower, feeling its warmth radiate through him. "I wish to help these children find their magic and keep the spirit of adventure alive in their hearts," he whispered, feeling a deep sense of gratitude for the bond they had formed. As each child stepped back, the starflower began to glow brighter, its petals shimmering in a mesmerizing dance. A soft breeze rustled the leaves around them, and for a brief moment, they felt as if the forest itself was celebrating their wishes. Suddenly, a gentle voice filled the air, like a soothing melody carried on the wind. "Your wishes are heard, dear ones. The magic of the starflower will guide you on your journeys. Cherish your dreams, for they hold the power to shape your future." The children gasped, eyes wide with wonder, as they listened to the voice. Elden felt a wave of warmth wash over him, knowing that they had tapped into something truly special. As the voice faded, they stood together, feeling a renewed sense of purpose. "What do you think that was?" Mira asked, her voice filled with awe. "I believe it was the magic of the forest," Elden replied, feeling inspired. "It's a reminder that our wishes can lead us on incredible journeys if we believe in ourselves and support each other." As the sun began to dip low in the sky, casting a warm golden glow across the clearing, they knew it was time to head back. They had experienced something extraordinary, and their hearts were full of hope and excitement for the future. Together, they made their way back through the forest, retracing their steps along the sparkling stream and the colorful stones. With every laugh and story shared, they felt the magic of the starflower still lingering in the air, fueling their dreams and aspirations. When they finally emerged from the forest, the village was bathed in the warm hues of sunset, the sky painted in shades of pink and orange. The children waved goodbye to Elden, their hearts brimming with excitement and determination. As Elden walked home, he reflected on the adventure they had just experienced. He knew that the starflower was just the beginning of many more magical moments to come. Each child held a treasure within them, dreams waiting to be realized and adventures yet to unfold. That night, as he lay in bed, Elden felt a sense of peace wash over him. He closed his eyes, imagining all the possibilities that awaited them. The forest was alive with magic, and he felt grateful to be a part of it, guiding the children on their journey of discovery. With a heart full of hope and dreams, he drifted into a peaceful sleep, ready to embrace whatever adventures tomorrow would bring. The heart of the forest. The following days were filled with excitement as Elden and the children continued their adventures, fueled by the magic of the starflower. They spent their afternoons exploring new paths in the forest, climbing trees, and learning about the plants and creatures that called the woods home. Each adventure deepened their bond and sparked their imaginations, turning their experiences into colorful stories shared around the campfire. One bright morning, Elden gathered Mira, Anna, and Benny in the village square, a look of determination on his face. "Today, I want us to explore the heart of the forest," he announced, excitement bubbling in his voice. "What's the heart of the forest?" Anna asked, tilting her head curiously. "The heart of the forest is a legendary place where the oldest and wisest trees stand," Elden explained. "It's said to be filled with ancient magic and secrets waiting to be discovered. Many believe it's where the true spirit of the forest lives." "Can we go there? Is it far?" Mira inquired, her eyes sparkling with wonder. "It's a bit farther than we've gone before, but I believe we can make it if we work together," Elden replied confidently. "Let's do it," Benny exclaimed, his enthusiasm infectious. With a plan in mind, they packed their bags with snacks, a map, and their trusty lantern, just in case they needed light. As they set off toward the forest, the sun shone brightly overhead, illuminating the path ahead. Elden led the way, recounting tales of the heart of the forest. Legend has it that the heart is guarded by a wise old spirit, a gentle giant of a tree that watches over all the creatures and plants in the woods. If you listen closely, you can hear its whispers carried by the wind. As they ventured deeper into the woods, the trees grew taller and the air felt thicker with magic. The children marveled at the beauty around them, the vibrant colors of wildflowers, the sounds of chirping birds, and the gentle rustle of leaves. They played games along the way, each step filled with laughter and excitement. After a while, they reached a clearing with a sparkling brook. The water danced over smooth stones, creating a cheerful melody. Elden suggested they take a break to rest and enjoy the surroundings. As they sat on the grassy bank, Anna spotted something shiny under the water. "Look, what's that?" she asked, pointing. Curious, they leaned closer to see what lay beneath the surface. To their delight, it was a collection of colorful pebbles that sparkled in the sunlight, resembling little gems. "Let's collect some," Benny exclaimed, already splashing his hands in the water. Elden laughed. "Just remember, we can take a few, but let's leave some for the forest to keep." The children eagerly picked up a handful of the sparkling pebbles, their laughter echoing across the brook. Mira placed a few in her pocket, already envisioning how she could use them in her art. Once they finished their break, Elden led them onward, the excitement palpable in the air. After walking for a while longer, they noticed the trees began to change again. The trunks were thicker, and the leaves shimmered with a silvery hue. "I think we're getting close," Elden said, his heart racing with anticipation. Suddenly, they entered a large clearing, and before them stood the most magnificent tree they had ever seen. Its trunk was wide and gnarled, with roots stretching out like ancient arms. The branches reached high into the sky, adorned with leaves that sparkled in the sunlight. "Is this the heart of the forest?" Mira whispered, awe evident in her voice. "Yes, it is," Elden replied, feeling a sense of reverence wash over him. This tree is said to be the oldest in the forest, a guardian of its magic and secrets. As they approached the tree, a gentle breeze swayed the branches, and the children could almost hear whispers carried on the wind. It felt alive, and they sensed a deep connection to the forest around them. "Do you think we can talk to it?" Benny asked, his eyes wide with wonder. Elden smiled. "I believe we can. Let's take a moment to listen and share our thoughts." They gathered around the tree, placing their hands on its sturdy trunk, feeling the energy pulsing through it. Elden closed his eyes, urging the children to do the same. They stood in silence, allowing the magic of the moment to envelop them. "I wish to always be brave," Mira said softly, feeling the warmth of the tree against her palms. "I wish to find treasure and share it with my friends," Benny added, a smile spreading across his face. "I wish to create a world filled with adventure," Anna whispered, her heart swelling with dreams. After a moment, Elden spoke softly. "I wish to protect this forest and all the creatures that call it home, just as you all protect one another." As they stood together, they felt the tree responding to their wishes. The leaves shimmered brighter, and a gentle breeze wrapped around them, carrying a sense of peace and understanding. "Let's explore more around the tree," Elden suggested, breaking the moment of silence. "There may be hidden treasures or secrets waiting for us to discover." They wandered around the enormous trunk, marveling at the intricate patterns in the bark. Suddenly, Anna gasped. "Look," she pointed to a small hollow in the base of the tree. Curious, they gathered around as Anna carefully peeked inside. "It's a nest," she exclaimed, her voice filled with excitement. "And look at all the shiny things." Inside the hollow were various trinkets, shiny buttons, colorful feathers, and even a tiny silver bell. Elden knelt beside Anna, his eyes sparkling with curiosity. "Those must belong to the forest creatures," he said. "They collect treasures they find, just like we do." Benny's eyes lit up with mischief. "Maybe we can leave something for them in return," he suggested, pulling out the sparkling pebbles they had collected earlier. "That's a wonderful idea," Elden agreed. "Let's leave a few of our gems and take a moment to thank the forest for all its magic." They carefully placed their shiny pebbles in the nest, feeling a sense of joy in giving back to the forest. Elden encouraged them to express their gratitude, each child taking a turn to speak their appreciation for the wonders they had experienced. As they finished, the gentle breeze swirled around them once more, and the leaves of the heart of the forest rustled softly, as if responding to their kindness. Elden felt a sense of warmth in his heart, knowing they were connecting with the spirit of the forest. After spending some time near the magnificent tree, Elden suggested they head back home, their hearts full of joy. "Today has been truly magical," he said, smiling at the children. "And we've created memories that will last a lifetime." As they made their way back through the forest, the sun began to set, casting a warm golden light across the path. They laughed and shared stories about their adventure, their spirits high with excitement. When they finally reached the village, the sky was painted in hues of pink and orange. The children waved goodbye to Elden, promising to meet again for their next adventure. That night, as Elden lay in bed, he reflected on their journey to the heart of the forest. He felt grateful for the friendships they had built and the magic they had discovered together. The whispers of the forest lingered in his mind, reminding him that the real treasures were not just in the adventures they shared, but in the connections they formed. With a heart full of hope and dreams, he drifted into a peaceful sleep, ready to embrace the adventures and wonders that awaited him and the children in the days to come.
whispering echoes